Hello there, young friends. My name is George Washington, and I have quite a story to tell you. You might know me as the first President of the United States, but there's so much more to my life than that. Grab a seat and let me tell you about my amazing journey from a young boy in Virginia to becoming known as the father of our country. I was born on February 22nd, 1732, in a place called Westmoreland County, Virginia. That's a very long time ago, over 290 years. My family lived on a plantation, which was like a big farm. When I was just 11 years old, something very sad happened. My father died. This meant I had to grow up faster than most children. I didn't get to go to fancy schools like some other boys from wealthy families. Instead, I learned by reading books at home and practicing my handwriting. I became really good at math, which helped me later in life. One of my favourite subjects was learning about land and how to measure it. This is called surveying. Little did I know this skill would take me on incredible adventures. When I was just 17 years old, I became a professional surveyor. That means I travelled into the wilderness to measure land and make maps. Can you imagine being a teenager and exploring forests where few people had ever been? I had to be brave because there were wild animals and I had to sleep under the stars. This job made me strong and taught me how to be a leader. I learned to take care of myself and others in difficult situations. By the time I was 20, I had become a major in the Virginia militia. That's like being a soldier who protects your home. I was already learning what it meant to serve my community. Soon I found myself fighting in something called the French and Indian War. This was a big conflict where Britain and France were fighting over land in America. I was still very young, only in my early 20s, but I was given important responsibilities. During this war, I learned valuable lessons about leadership, courage, and how to make difficult decisions. I made mistakes too, because everyone does when they're learning. But these experiences taught me how to command soldiers and how to stay calm when things got scary. I didn't know it then, but I was preparing for much bigger challenges ahead. After the war, I returned home and married a wonderful woman named Martha. She had 2 children from her first marriage, and I loved them as if they were my own. We lived at Mount Vernon, my plantation on the Potomac River. It was beautiful there. I worked hard to make Mount Vernon successful. I grew tobacco and other crops, and I tried to take good care of all the people who lived and worked there. During this time, I also served in Virginia's government, learning more about how to help people solve problems together. Life was good, but big changes were coming to America. By the 1770s, many Americans were unhappy with Britain's rules and taxes. We felt like we didn't have a fair say in decisions that affected our lives. When the situation got worse, my fellow Americans asked me to lead the Continental Army in a war for independence. This was the hardest thing I ever did. We were fighting against the most powerful army in the world. Our soldiers were often hungry, cold, and didn't have proper uniforms or weapons. But they believed in freedom, and so did I. We spent 8 long years fighting, and there were times when I wasn't sure we could win. But we never gave up, and eventually we achieved something amazing. We became a free and independent nation. After we won the war, Americans had to figure out how to govern themselves. We created something called the Constitution, which is like a rule book for our country. Then something incredible happened. Everyone wanted me to be the first president of the United States. I wasn't sure I wanted this job. I was tired and wanted to go home to Mount Vernon. But I realized that our new country needed someone to help it get started on the right path. So I accepted, and I served as president for 8 years. I tried to set good examples for all the presidents who would come after me. My dear young friends, I want you to remember that I was once a child just like you. I had dreams, I made mistakes, and I had to work hard to achieve my goals. The most important things I learned were to always tell the truth, to help others, to never give up when things get difficult, and to serve something bigger than yourself. I helped create a country where children like you can grow up free to follow your dreams. Always remember that with hard work, courage and kindness, you too can make a difference in the world. Who knows? Maybe one day you'll be telling your own amazing story. Thank you for listening to mine. Now go out there and make history.